Yumi and Tuscany got top of the stack, and boy did I ever not expect that. But, I mean, given that was autumn. Anyway, broccolini, cheese, and this risotto went in to make this stuffed pepper in there. So I minced up the broccoli, and that's my salad for today. And we're both drinking the iced tea, the Daily Greens Ultimate Iced Tea today. Well, we really have to use it up.
Well, iced tea is a good idea
And
on a day
it's
like today.
a really hot day. So, yeah. So there's a couple reasons why we're drinking that today. It's amazing how good that tastes, because it doesn't look good.
No.
You look at it and you're like, green iced tea? It looks like something
Poison out
from
of some sci-fi.
Yeah. It actually does taste like iced tea. So, now what can I say about Yumi and Tuscany? When I first put this on, like, I was dreading watching this. I did not want to watch it. And then I noticed at the library, well, other people have it on hold, so I'm going to have to return it. So I'm like, well, okay, I guess I gotta get through it. Because sometimes if I really don't like something, it might sit around a long time before I decide to watch it. Which, it's fine now, because our public library, you don't get late fines. Before, like, it used to be, when I had a lot of anxiety and I was very amiable and very worried about what other people would think about me, and people didn't think that I was, but I was, and I was worried about, I didn't want to offend people and stuff like that, and anyway, amiable people, what do? You grow up. So women,
Most of them amiable people don't.
you end
They
up
just keep on getting
kicked around. Yeah. So anyway, I was so frightened of, I don't want to have late fines, and I don't want to, have things out too long, and what will the library people think of me if I'm late all the time or whatever. And I wouldn't have been late anyway, because I was so worried about, anyway. So I didn't want to take the videos from the library. Never wanted to borrow them, because I didn't want to risk it. And but now, dinner and a movie, I borrow these all the time. And once I started doing it, I realized, I'm never late on these things. I don't have to pay late fines, and because I'm a very organized person, and it didn't matter. But then now there's no late fines anyway, so whatever. So technically, I wouldn't really have to bring this back on time, but people have it on hold. They want to watch it. I don't want to keep them waiting. I'm amiable. So anyway, so I decided to watch this morning. And at first, there's this, African-American woman, young, and she's very pretty and everything, and she's a full-figured woman. So, not really typical Hollywood, but then this is kind of romantic comedy, or rom-com, I guess anyway, so she looks really well-to-do. She's in this big fancy like penthouse sort of apartment, and she has this lovely little chihuahua, and she's dressed to the nines, and she has a doorman, and the doorman's a white guy, and I'm like, okay, this is going in a wrong direction. I don't know what I'm going to think about this movie. But then it turns out that all of that just made it even better, right? So it turns out that she's a house sitter, and yeah, and so she doesn't actually have really much money at all, almost anything. She has $500 or something like that in her bank account, and so here she is. This is what she does. She house sits, but while she's house sitting, she likes to pretend that that's her life. So she lives other people's lives while she's there, and So anyway, she got caught wearing the owner of the penthouse, wearing her clothes and stuff like that. You find that out right away, so I'm really not, spoiler alert, whatever. I can put a spoiler alert when you're watching this, but you find that out within the first few minutes. So I'm letting you miss one joke or whatever, and making you maybe enjoy the beginning more, because like I was put off by it at first, but then, you know, don't worry about it. It makes it better. So anyway, she ends up continuing on pretending to be living a different life than her own for a while, and then that eventually things work out pretty nicely for her. So right when I saw the reason that I shared the penthouse story and the opening with you is because I pretty much had to. They show you right away the owner of the penthouse. The actress is the woman from My Big Fat Greek Wedding or whatever. And so right away when you see that, you go, ah, this is a Big Fat Greek Wedding sort of movie. And it is, only better. So anybody who loved My Big Fat Greek Wedding, and I think almost all women did. I'm not a romantic comedy person, so this isn't my kind of movie. I still liked it. And I liked it more than My Big Fat Greek Wedding. So, who thought that could be possible? Looking at this cover.
I was apprehensive about it.
Yeah. And the title and everything, and it's like, oh, I don't want a romance sort of thing, right? But this was really well done. Excellent. I don't think you could do a romantic comedy better than this. This really worked out. Now, I would have done things a little bit differently along the way, but honestly, it's pretty much perfect. She dropped out of culinary school, and you find out along the way why. So she's a really good cook, and that's important in the story. That figures in, and then you get to see. I wanted to make shrimp for James for this because you'll see why. But I didn't have any shrimp for James. I was hoping that I'd be given shrimp today, but I didn't ask my angels for it, so it didn't come. But because that was really short notice, you know, I just watched this morning. I'm just hopeful. But anyway, you get to see food in a movie always. When there's food being cooked and you're getting to see the wonderful dishes, that's going to really increase the value of the movie, I think. Because people love seeing food, they love eating, and so it's kind of like food porn, right? Every time you see the food in the movie, it's like, oh, love eating.
Seems to work with the critics.
Yeah.
You want to win an award,
Works with
have
people.
food.
Yeah, exactly. Stick some food in there. So that works, and then you're in a beautiful place. You have beautiful scenery. How can you beat this? This is pretty tough to beat. This beautiful Italian scenery, and
It's
so
amazing
this is just
how much I'm willing to forgive a movie.
with
if
great
there's
scenery. Yeah.
Great scenery.
So you're watching this, and you're like, oh, you know, she's maybe like My Big Fat Greek Wedding. The woman, not such a looker, but she has this romance, right? And with this here, right away, she's like, I wanted her to have some sort of a romantic connection with the cab driver, honestly. I think this would be a perfect movie for my Aunt Pam, because she went to Greece, and she met her Greek husband there, who he was her cab driver. So he picked her up and took her to all the beautiful sights in Greece, and I guess they had a whirlwind romance, and they got married, had a couple children, and they're still married. It's just worked out. So sometimes that whole Hollywood romance thing, it works. I don't know.
It
So-
always helps. The setting helps. Like Greece.
Yeah.
Can you imagine trying to do that in Lethbridge, Alberta?
Well,
Well, there's some nice sights, but
so how is that stuffed pepper compared to yesterday's?
well, it's better because
Really?
it's well, of course.
Huh.
It's got nice tasting stuff and it's got healthier stuff.
So you like the green? Okay. Well, that's good because I put a lot of green in there.
Yeah.
I actually didn't use, I made 3 peppers and that was the smallest one. And I only used about half of the package of this. And I used very little of the Italiano cheese. I could have put more, but I thought, well, I'll put it just on the top. And I'll put, I mean, this is cheese flavor. So I thought, that might be enough inside. So,
Anyway, that's what makes it. But I'm counting in the healthy stuff along with the taste.
okay.
Cheese always goes well with veggies. Kind of thing.
Yeah, well, I did put
I
a lot
don't
of
know what-
broccoli in there, so
yeah.
I wanted to kind of
What,
help that
what
go
did
down.
what did they have in the risotto?
It's
cheese
cheese flavor.
flavor?
I don't know what they have in it. I really.
Again, it works.
Don't
So,
know.
yeah.
So, yeah. If you're into Big Fat Greek Wedding, you're gonna love this. You're gonna absolutely love this. It's way better than Big Fat Greek Wedding.
Funny
And
though that
everyone
people
loved
are
that.
still talking about Big Fat Greek Wedding, not just you.
It was huge. So, Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia. You're gonna continue talking about that?
Yeah.
Enjoy.
I'd say a huge disappointment, but it wasn't. What I expect from so-called what is he style of correspondent? It's not even a reporter, correspondent. As I was saying yesterday, there's not proper context given for how this guy rose to power and why his policies are the way they are. Reminds me of Jimmy Carter's reaction to the Shah. You know, like Jimmy Carter was going to get rid of torture worldwide, starting with his own allies, including the Shah. Jimmy Carter was told by his Secretary of State, it's a weird title for someone who's responsible for foreign affairs. Zbigniew Brzezinski was told by him, do not crack down on the Shah. Like crack down in terms of calling them out for torture and whatever. Because it will look as though you're pulling the Oriental rug out from underneath him. I think Zbigniew Brzezinski got the Oriental part out. Anyway, what happened? Carter doesn't listen to his Secretary of State.
Yeah, but why don't
Pulls the rug out from the
presidents
Shah.
listen to their advisors? Come on, guys.
Well, when Donald Trump just gets rid of him, there's a guy called John Bolton, idiot who served in the, or disserved or whatever, in the Bush Jr. administration. I think he thought he was going to civilize Trump, and Trump just got rid of him. Bolton is one of Trump's biggest critics, but his voice sounds like a pipsqueak's opposite Donald Trump. Or Trump sounds like a maddened elephant in heat or something like that. Anyway, I don't see where this guy is, let's say, as bad as Saddam Hussein. Not as bad as Erdogan in Turkey. Definitely not as bad as Khamenei or whoever was in power in Iran recently. And I gather it's one of his progeny or something like that who's in power in Iran right now. You see what happens. He was talking reform. I think they brought in some reforms allowing women to drive. There's one place where you can get around Muslim law. If Muhammad couldn't legislate about it because, and believe me, he legislated about a lot of things. And as I was trying to explain yesterday, tried to explain before, Islam does not handle reality well. Reality actually changes. Like even the most benighted of societies, like Islamic society, are subject to change if only from without. If you can't keep up with the changes, you're going to fall by the wayside. Guy who taught me Islam, observant Muslim, I don't know how fundamentalist, he was saying, oh, around 800 AD, Islam led the world in civilization, whatever. The Abbasid dynasty. Well, it didn't really lead the world. It might have been in the tie with China. I don't think it really was. I mean, China actually had way more culture. There's the Tang dynasty between 600 and 900 AD. The empire started striking back about 800 AD with the Tang dynasty. Here's what he said. It led the world. I don't know what happened after that. Yeah, what happened is Islam happened after that. I mean, it's been an ongoing process of suppressing culture and science. The majority of people in the Abbasid Empire at that point in time were not Muslims. And the culture was an inherited culture. It was inherited from the Mesopotamians, it was inherited from the Jews, and it was inherited from the Greeks, and it was inherited from to a certain extent, from the neighboring Persians. And once those influences were crushed, effectively, you ended up, for example, that area which co-invented writing, not having 100% literacy rate. This is around 2000 or something like that. It's especially acute in Egypt. Around 2005, Egypt had a literacy rate of 72%. I'm not going to round that down to 70%. We'll say 72%. Huh? That's a place that co-invented writing. And in this millennium, had a less than 3/4 literacy rate. Unacceptable. Accents on all 5 syllables. Exclamation mark following and preceding. Unacceptable. So that's what happened. I don't know why he didn't know. I guess he didn't want to know. You've got to face up to the limitations of your culture. And don't go around calling it civilization. Civilization is living in cities and getting along with other people. And the West has done that so much better. I'm sorry. Hitler, a real scumbag, had something like a soundbite. In the end, in his, not so much conversations, but rants, in his bunker, said, I think more than once, oh man, I really wish the Germans were Muslims. They would have won this war. They would have fought to the death. Eh? So if you're going around saying, oh man, look what the West did. Like World War II, World War One. Hitler had actually a pretty skewed sense of things, but he understood that Muslims are much more prone to violence and stuff like that. It has nothing to do with genes. It has everything to do with culture. Much more prone to violence. And you don't like me saying that? You just don't like history. That's not a narrative. Check it out. And I encourage you to check it out. The defenders of Islam going around saying defensive war. Somewhere now that they managed to fight a defensive war all the way from the Arabian Peninsula to the shores of the Atlantic in Morocco. And in case you don't have much of a sense of geography, Morocco is farther west than England, even Ireland. Farther west. They're fighting defensive battles all that way. They're fighting defensive battles into China, well into China, present-day China. They're fighting defensive battles all the way through India into Burma. Defensive battles. Well, they're not defensive battles. Don't go around lying like that. Read the Quran and you'll find out that it is enjoined to fight a battle in defense of Islam, property, whatever, on every citizen. There's another type of battle, this is in the Quran, that's enjoined only on able-bodied, full-grown males. Well, once you get rid of defensive war, what's left? You shouldn't have to figure it out. But maybe you can get your rattle-trap mind going, you people that are going around saying Islam's hugely tolerant and stuff like that. It's offensive war. And that's enjoined on, it's stunning. You can run across passages like that in the Old Testament where war with what are considered nowadays war crimes are enjoined on the Jews, or the Hebrews rather, during the conquest of Canaan. And that was 2,000 years ago, okay? Almost exactly. But it's just, you can't find something like that in the New Testament. It doesn't really belong in what I like to think of as a religious document. But there it is in the Quran, big and bold as life. You don't even have to go through all of the Quran. I understand, I've gone through it 3 times in English translation, and 1/6 of it in the Arabic translation. No, it's not a translation.
Okay, but this was like 2 hours long. So
Too
what did
long.
they fill it out with?
Well, they're just detailing, this one guy, reporter who gets killed. I don't even know if Mohammed bin Salman gave the order to have him killed. You see, that's stupid, have him killed in a embassy in Turkey. The Turks are, of course, looking to set up no, they deny it, setting up the caliphate, because they're the last people to have the caliphate.
So it says here, what role did Saudi Arabia's new crown prince, Mohammed bin Salman, play in orchestrating the murder that shocked the world? But did they actually tell you in this?
They just basically suggest this. It's what reporters have been doing when it comes to, they hate Saudi Arabia. Why? Because Saudi Arabia was on the winning side and they were actually on the good guys' side. Of course, good is relative. The good guys' side during the Cold War. They'll never forget. Same thing with the Turks until they decided to, and this is in this millennium, go fundamentalist. And of course, one of these useful idiots was saying, oh, now that they've got a fundamentalist government in Turkey, we'll get to see how enlightened and tolerant Islam can be, fundamentalist Islam could be. And what I said right then was, we'll see it in living color, and it's going to be red. What kind of red? Blood red. They've turned into a dictatorship, but that was on the agenda right from the beginning.
So it also says that insights into the relationship between Mohammed bin
Salman.
and the Trump administration. So
Trump's,
did they say anything about that?
Well, Trump looks as though he's been kind of a supporter. Trump is what he is he's a Russian cat's paw, and he'll do whatever. I think bin Salman was making noises about recognizing Israel, and of course, down deep, every phony left-winger is going around, and that's most of them, Social Democrats, Labour Party in England, whatever, a New Democrat in Canada, and Bernie Sanders supporters in the United States. They're, even Bernie, I mean, he's a Jew, but I don't know what he's thinking of. They're all anti-Semites. In the case of Bernie Sanders, there's many a Jew who've...
You mean Jew haters?
Jew haters, whatever. Yeah, exactly right.
I would rather
that's better than
just say that.
Judeophobe, for example.
Honestly, it sounds worse, and it's more honest.
Yeah. So this guy was married to a Jew. He's lucky to survive. He goes through and talks about all the Jews that helped out the revolution, and some even he doesn't mention, like Karl Radek, Zinoviev, Kaganovich. I didn't realize until yesterday or so, Kaganovich is their version of son of the Cohen, of the priest.
Really?
The Russians, they don't have an H on, so they put a G there.
Yeah.
Anyway, he was wiped out, and any number of these guys. For example, I was showing this picture of these scumbugs. Heifetz, he's a Jew. He didn't survive this picture much. You know? I'm not sure about this Kasparov. So, I think one of the lessons to be taken from history is, if you're a Jew, be very careful of the cultures and the countries that you support. Why would like Jews have actually, although they haven't been well liked generally in the United States, they've generally been allowed to prosper. Why would you support the commies? Why would you support when the Social Democrats before the commies and afterwards, now after World War II, they've been anti-Semitic right down the line, and or Jew-hating, as Pauline points out. Anti-Semitic is not a good designation.
No.
How much time?
About a minute.
A minute. So that's a lesson to be drawn from here. I'll be drawing it further. But, when you go around, this guy isn't Jewish. I don't think that criticizing Mohammed bin Salman. Trump
Jamal Khashoggi.
Khashoggi is what they say. That's one of the troubles with Arabic. Most of the places where they originally had a G, they pronounce it like a J.
Oh.
So Jamal, that's a classic first name. It's really in the original it'd be Gamal.
Weird.
Or Gamal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Wrap it up.
That's all I wanted to talk about. That does not come recommended unless you need an antidote to all the stupid stuff and here, all the stupid coverage. I don't know what this guy's going to turn out to be like.
But this was great.
Yeah.